Welcome back to the second video in the series. In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of the storyline and the theme for setting up an escape room. So stories are the most powerful form of human communication. And stories are used when people are trying to make a sale, when they're trying to get people to change their behavior, when they're trying to explain the meaning of data, numbers and graphs. When you couple complex information with a simple story, the human brain automatically becomes more alert and is able to understand the elements of a story more than any other kind of information. So keep that in mind, actually, with any learning experience. If you can combine that with a story, it is going to make it more memorable and easy to understand for your learner. So aside from the escape room, if you could just do that with any of your content to bring it to life, that is why we use scenarios all the time in learning, because it's a story and the human brain is just programmed and wired to understand and enjoy and remember stories. So the storyline is absolutely vital in an escape room, because basically what you're doing is you're taking content and you're actually getting it messed up. You're making it chaotic, and they have to kind of unravel it and put these pieces together. And it can seem very pointless if there is not a good storyline going there about why they're putting themselves through this torture of trying to unravel these puzzles. Like, what's the point? Why are they doing this? Well, it's because there's this story, right? And there's this competition, and they need to be the heroes. So the storyline is extremely important. People will not find the puzzles enjoyable or meaningful in any way if it is not coupled with a clear story. So you have this story, which is really, it starts as a problem. There's some kind of problem and conflict that is being experienced by some characters. And then you have these other characters, the learners, who have now been tasked with resolving the problem for these people. So all of the props and all of the puzzles are going to be themed around this storyline. And that gives the learners an even more immersive experience, okay? So the storyline is extremely important. And right now you might be thinking, oh, wow, didn't realize I was going to have to become a writer and write these storylines. I only like puzzles. Don't worry. We have ChatGPT that's going to do all that work for us. So you don't need to worry about it. Okay. If you don't like writing stories, not a problem. You don't have to. You're going to tell ChatGPT to do that for you here in just a moment. Okay. So for planning, now this planning worksheet is included in the book, by the way, if you want to buy the book. Or you can just write this down. It's not complicated at all, but these are the planning basics. This is what you'll do before you really dig in and get it very far in the planning process. You need to think about, where's it going to happen? What's the learning goals? Are there any safety concerns? Do you have resources you can use? What is your budget? What is your theme, your conflict, and your characters? So for me, this was for an escape room I'm doing on the McKinsey 7S, which I'm going to walk you through. I did not have any money for this, okay? But I did have Canva for designing props, and you will need some kind of graphic design software for designing the props. Keep that in mind. And also I know how to use Google Forms to turn it into like a security type of system. So it takes codes. I can turn that into a puzzle. I know how to do that. So those were some of my resources. So my theme is the McKinsey 7S, which actually I should have written down there as well. But let me show you the course and what that looks like. So this was the course that I started with. This was in Articulate Storyline. Okay, so it's a course on the McKinsey 7S model of change, which is how you look at a company and identify places that need to be changed, areas that are problems. This takes them through this process. And so I was able to download this as a document and then I can use it in ChatGPT. So just keep that in mind. This is the content. This is how it exists before I got started. Here's the 10-step process. I've made a lot of escape rooms. And so what I did is I analyzed the process that I was following to make all of these happen. Okay, and so the first step is what I just showed you. I have content existing and I got it into a document format. It doesn't have to be in a document format, but it's preferable so you can upload it into ChatGPT and let ChatGPT look at what you have and help you with that content. But you could also copy and paste it over. You could take screenshots because ChatGPT can read text and images as well. There's lots of other ways you could do it. To me, having it in a document format was the easiest. So that's the first thing you always want to make sure you do. Then we're going to let ChatGPT do the rest of the work for us. I'm going to let ChatGPT completely pick the theme and the conflict, although I could guide ChatGPT if I wanted and say, well, I actually want it to be in an underground mine or in a spaceship on Mars. So I can actually specify what I want if I have something in mind. I can tell ChatGPT any time constraints I have, if I'm wanting help with the puzzles, any of that stuff. Let me just jump into ChatGPT and show you how it works. So if you have never been in ChatGPT before, you're going to create an account. There is a free version. That's what I typically use. And your screen is going to look like this. It's going to be completely blank. And this is where you would just write, I want to make an escape room, blah, 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 blah. And then you could upload the content that you have here. Let me show you what I did. I think it's in this one. You can see I use ChatGPT a lot. I've got lots of help on this one. Okay, so here I asked for a storyline and a conflict. And so ChatGPT wrote this for me. They named it the Corporate Crisis, Save Stellar Enterprises. So the learners are business consultants. They've been brought in to help Stellar Enterprises because they have internal chaos, they're missing deadlines, people are quitting, profits are down, everything's horrible. And there is a key investor that's threatening to withdraw funding unless Stellar Enterprises can come up with a plan for fixing stuff. So that's the problem. So now I have my theme, my conflict, even my characters. Actually, everything that I need is right here. So ChatGPT didn't just give me my theme and my conflict and my characters, but also suggested many different puzzles that I could use, and many of which I did use. But you can see here all of the content available. Now, the thing about using ChatGPT is if you're a good communicator, you're going to love ChatGPT. So ChatGPT will misunderstand you all the time and give you information that doesn't apply. And it's not going to work for what you want. And if you are able to give corrections and say, oh, you misunderstood that. What I was really wanting was this. Or that is not going to fit for what I'm doing because what I have available is this. If you're able to do that, ChatGPT will give you everything you need. And it will even help you with many of your puzzles. If you are not a good communicator, you and ChatGPT are probably not going to get along because ChatGPT will misunderstand you and you won't be able to provide correction to help ChatGPT understand your problem better. But anyway, that's how you use it. You just talk to ChatGPT as if it's a person. And that's what I did to generate the theme and characters and much more. So the next thing is you want to set the scene. So basically right now what we know is that it's a business setting. And so I got to think about what kind of visuals I could have in the room if I want to decorate it differently. What kind of lighting, sounds, smells, what kind of briefing instructions am I going to give the learners? These are all things to consider. And for this particular setting, this is going to be a pretty quick activity and it's already happening in a business setting. So I'm not going to have a whole lot of this. I am going to have a lot of visuals because those are my props. So at the very core of every escape room are your visuals, which are your props. But you might also have things that you hang on the wall and stuff. I don't take it to that level for professional learning. just because it can overcomplicate things, and it's a lot of effort for decorating. If I was going to do this in a school setting with kids, I would go the extra mile and do a little more decorating for the theme. But anyway, those are some things to consider. So here's what I'm thinking for my visuals. It's just going to basically be my props. And then for the briefing, I'm either going to have a voiceover that is Amelia Sterling, one of the characters, that explains what's going on, or I'm going to make an email or something like that to brief people on what's going on. But for smells, sound, and lighting, I'm not going the extra mile on that. Okay, so now it is time for you to go to the book and review pages 24 through 36. So these pages are just basically going to go over the storyline. How do you decide on a storyline? Why is it important to choose a theme? And there are sample themes. So if you want to do this all on your own and you don't want to use ChatGPT, that is perfectly okay. I mean, you can come up with these ideas on your own, and there's lots of them here for you. So you can use those examples, or you can also use them to guide ChatGPT to set them in the right direction of what you're wanting to produce. And then there's some examples of types of visuals, lighting, sound, smells, etc. And then there are 5 examples here of different escape rooms and just those beginning preparations that were made, you know, and if you were going to go the extra mile with the lighting and the sound and the smell, what kinds of things you would have. So there's 5 examples here in the book for you to review. So you do that, and then I will see you in the next video where we will go over conflict.